Hi, welcome back to the ADHD Girls podcast with me, Claire.
And me, Laura.
Starting as we usually do with the how does ADHD shown up for you this week? For me, I would say just really poor sleep, actually. All the thoughts whizzing around in my head and knowing that I needed to get up early this morning. It's a Saturday, but I still need to get up early. And then not getting sleep till 5 a.m. Overly sleeping through my alarm. Feeling quite bad because my friend had been texting me at 6:30 a.m. saying, "Oh, are you awake yet? What are we doing?" And I didn't actually get back to her till an hour later. So I felt really bad. It was fine, but I didn't end up meeting up with her because it didn't work out. But yeah, I felt like a crap friend because I hadn't worked out my timings. But
Do you think that was down to feeling like a crap friend because of your poor sleep? Or ADHD, or both?
yeah, interesting. It's probably the old ADHD playing tricks on my mind. Because, everyone has... You can't help it if you've had a bad night's sleep.
No.
I didn't do it on purpose, but...
Purposely, I'm going to sabotage myself.
For sleep. So, yeah, it's just irritating because it's, missed out. But that's for me. How about you, Laura?
I am getting better at trying to not have decision fatigue. And by decision fatigue, it will be something basic like I will have a thought of, do you know what, going out, it's nice and sunny and going outdoors for a bit of fresh air will do me good. And my brain will go, oh, but it's cold, but it's this, but it's that, but it's that. And it's me now learning to quieten down of trying to get it to the most basic question of, will going out help me? And if it's yes, trying to go, right, I'm going to do it. Because I find it's normally, oh, but what if this, what if that, oh, and that, and then I look, oh, I've got this, and I got, oh, but I need to do that. And I find my brain will go into 100 different scenarios of, but I need to do, and then that. And it's now just going, I'm going to focus on one thing and asking the question of, is this going to help? Is this going to benefit me? Is this going to help me? Is this a positive thing? And if it's a yes, just kind of go, okay, I'm going to focus on that.
And I'm pleased to say that we are both outside in sub-zero temperatures. We came out, we've done our walk, we've exercised, we're in open air, so it's a success.
It's a successful day.
We've both turned it round.
We both, we're getting better. And it's never going to be like, oh, this is great. But there's some days where you just kind of know we're getting better at managing ourselves and trying to find those patterns where it could go downhill and kind of stopping it and go, right, no, we're going to need to really reframe this. But so today we're going to talk about the emotional side, self-esteem, anxiety, friendships as women with ADHD. Because I find this is really huge. It's your social circle and friendships and everything are fundamental to life. You need this, socializing. And I find navigating these things with ADHD as a woman is, it's hard anyway, but I think with us, we've got that added layer of, we were talking before about, being too sensitive or
having strong, big feelings.
Big feelings.
How we got there.
And then the social side of things where some people might have a different idea of things and you're there going,
it doesn't really
I think this
suits me or fit in with how I want to be.
Yeah. So I find a lot of women or girls, ADHD isn't bouncing off the walls. It's drowning in your own head. You're just so internal.
So I definitely identify with the bouncing off the wall, but I think we spoke earlier about how it feels like there's a chimp in our head playing drums or jumping off the wall.
Well, your one's banging the two symbols together. Mine's bashing itself against the edge of my skull.
So what do you think the drowning one?
So for me, the drowning is the overthinking, the self-criticism, the perfectionism, the people-pleasing, the where do I fit in? It's all of those in what, the constant of, where in social circles, I think as you grow up, your social circles widen, when girls are younger, it's just about school. It's in one place. While as you're older, I find friends move and you move, or, things just widen, but they're still there, all these invisible rules and things where you're going, I'm not quite sure what that means, or I'm not quite sure what that.
And how much of myself should I reveal at what point in the
Oh God, yeah, this was it. It's like, how much, what do I say? Because I can kind of come up with something where, we could just bounce, we just do, me and you, we just kind of, we said this, but there's never any malice what we say. We're just kind of being honest of, this is how I feel. But I find a lot of my friends who aren't neurotypical
Not
kind of give you this look like, oh, what do you mean you have an internal monologue? And what do you mean you overthink things? Like you just do it. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to, but for me, it's not that
so
simple.
you mean the typicals are questioning what's going on, aren't they? I think because you and I met and we became quite close really quickly, I'd say, which is fairly typical of how I am with other neurodivergent friends. It's just you cut through a layer of crap quite quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas I find with typicals, it takes a lot longer. I'm now aware of this, but it takes a lot longer for me to feel closer to them. But I do have quite a number of friends who are like myself and Laura. But yeah, I just think we can just chat about random stuff.
But we go deeper, I think. So there's a lot more meaning and there's a lot more connection, I find.
Yeah.
Because I've had a lot of friends, they might kind of just talk about superficial things.
Yeah.
Like TV shows or what this person said and what that person did. And there's just the basic outline, but there's no real deep, like we'd talk about, like, oh God, today I felt like this, today I felt that. And it goes deeper into
Whereas as
more...
a neurodivergent, I find that I'm more likely to come out and say something, which is almost like I don't see it as a test at the time, but almost like a test because you say it. Now a neurodivergent will run with it and go, yeah, I thought that too, or interesting. Whereas a typical, like, start backing away from you. It's like,
yeah, like,
why are you saying that? I didn't sign up for that. We were just talking about
something.
TV shows and I don't know why you've gone off.
And then it gets awkward and you're like, oh no, I've revealed too much. And then all the
now
chatter comes out in your head of, oh my God, I'm not going to say that again. And then the whole cycle starts again over.
I don't fit in. They don't understand me. I'm the freak.
No one likes me. They're never going to speak to me again. That was so embarrassing. Oh my God, why did I say that?
Then it's important to find your tribe.
Definitely. I think it's good to find someone else you can just be unmasked with. Because that's what we say. We are 100% unmasked with each other. We're always filter free, but we would, I think because of what we are, we've never offended each other. We're just honest on how we feel and how we see things. And most of the time we can both go, oh yeah, I felt similar, because we can just have that space where it is genuine. It is just, this is how I'm genuinely feeling.
No judgment as well. Sometimes I'll say something to you and I'll find myself judging myself and you just go, it doesn't matter. It's fine. I don't care.
No.
Say what you think. And it's like, oh yeah, of course.
But I find a lot of,
it's fine.
but I find a lot of people do judge, but they don't judge in a way where, you know, they're just kind of, it's very apparent they're judging you, but then I feel like they're going to use that against you. Yeah. In some way. Because it's happened to me in the past where I've said something personal to someone and that person's made fun of it or brought it on later on just to use it against you. And I can see
telling somebody else about it and then they've told you, I told someone about it.
Like, so it's to have that power over you because they're bullies, and it's to have that power over you. And now I'm better at having not that kind of people in my life, or knowing I know that person's like that and I'm not going to trust anything. So it's that
keep it superficial.
Living and learning and going, well, I know that person's like that. But I think when I was younger, I was very naive and I would just want friends. And looking back now, I wish I had more confidence in myself of being like, no, that person's treated you badly quite a lot now. This is where you back away. Well, for me, it was like, oh, but I still want them to be my friend. Yeah. And
I think, you know, on some level that it's wrong and the friendship's not working for you and it's quite damaging to you, but you haven't quite worked out how to find the people that are right for you. Yeah. Maybe because they're also masking really heavily and they're not aware. So it is harder to find, but as you get older, you do become better. I think I found it's quality, not quantity of relationships.
100%. Yeah. It's better to have literally 3 friends and that is it over
to nurture those real
genuine connections. Yeah. Because otherwise the other people will just exhaust you. You'll feel bad about them. You won't want to meet up or see them. And then you feel alone. And so, it's very, very important to, and this is where I think, where would you find neurotypicals? I think it's similar interest to, I mean, I like neurotypicals. Where would you find them? People like us.
Oh, the
special, spicy people.
Not the typicals.
No. Where would you, because I think I like my science fiction. So I think it's maybe looking for somewhere where you've got genuine interest in, let's say, space, science fiction or computing or whatever. There will be something around that.
Yeah, I would say just follow your interests. It's so important. So the easiest thing to do is to, be yourself. And I mean, in that sense, to give you a tangible thing rather than just saying be yourself. I find your interests and run with them. Because if you have those deep interests and you join a group, or join a forum or whatever, however you meet people online or in real life, you will find them through the special interests. I would imagine, okay, they might not all be neurodivergence, a big mixture, but you will find neurodivergence in there because they're the ones with the special deep dive interests, the hyperfocuses.
Yeah.
And, I've got loads of different special interests and I get a lot of pleasure from immersing myself in that, in that world. And yeah, I think it's the only way to be because we get such a lot of pleasure from their special interests.
Yes.
It's literally our soul.
Depending on which one it is that month.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That can change very easily, very rapidly cycle through. And so, I'll come back to that one a couple of years later.
Yeah.
It's annoyed me and I've left that. But yeah, no, you will find those friendships. It'll be much more rewarding when you've got that. Because basically, it's what the ADHD brain or the autistic brain needs, these deep and meaningful connections. And if that's a subject that you're really passionate about, you're going to find that with others who are also passionate about it. So yeah, just really lean into that.
Definitely. And I think
worried about being a geek.
Yeah, and I think as women as well, we might be previously, because obviously I love my science fiction stuff, and that's not normal girl thing.
Yeah.
It's more boy thing. But I think this is where whatever interests you, doesn't matter about whatever the stereotypical whatever is, just genuinely go, there'll be something online about it. They're guaranteed. I mean, online, there's YouTube videos, there's something.
If you've thought of it, someone else has.
Yeah, definitely. But it does sometimes take that extra bit of courage to go, I'm going to pursue this, because it depends on what as well. Because I remember I had a really, really damaging friendship years and years ago, and thankfully I do not see that person anymore. But I can see that at the time, it absolutely stripped my confidence, because I wouldn't know what they were going to, 1 minute they were really, it would be fine for a week, they'd be really, really nice. Obviously we were younger, in our teenagers, but they knew what buttons to press. They knew how to upset me, and they would do it. And again, you'd be like, oh, well, I'm just having a laugh. Oh, I'm just joking. And I think that is the second someone said, oh, I was just joking, but in a way that is mocking you, okay, that person, do never tell anything more to, and try and distance yourself.
They weaponise that knowledge about you.
That's exactly it. Weaponising knowledge against you. That is such a good, because I think that's the kind of person you think. And it's difficult because sometimes, I see it with my daughter, with her friendship groups, when you're in a social circle, sometimes you do have to see people because you don't have a choice, because they might be friends with someone else and you see them a lot. So it's just learning to know what do you give this person? And that could be your time, your energy, or your words. And it's up to you. And this is where we really want to encourage whoever listens to this, of like getting that power to yourself of, you can choose what you say to people, how much you tell, and just be mindful of it, because some people will use it against you, and you're too sensitive, or we're just joking, and those are not the kind of people you want around yourself, or very much limit of what you spend time on.
The other thing about having your special interests is that you'll be in a group of people who will never mock you for your deep interest in, for example, I don't know, Care Bears or My Little Pony, because they're not going to be going, oh, that's not age appropriate. Don't like that stuff. They're not going to care, because they're going to also think like that as well. Because
Dungeons and Dragons or whatever.
Exactly.
It's just
World of Warcraft, anything like that.
Trains or whatever.
Trains, yeah, exactly. And like one of my things is maps, and a lot of people say, oh, that's just really weird. Oh, why don't you just use Google Maps? Why have you got printout maps? Why do you like? Because I love doing it. It makes my brain far off on all the same.
Makes your brain happy.
It makes you happy, yeah. But you're not going to get mocked for that. You're not going to be like, oh, freak. Because unfortunately, we are adults, but people do behave in that way to us. We will be judged, certain people. So if you've got that outlet where you can be with those people who are like-minded, you're going to get so much more out of life and relationships.
Yeah.
Because you can just, and also if you find it awkward talking to people that you don't know, if you're in that group, like, you've already got a commonality, the subject matter. So you don't have to talk about anything awkward. You could just be talking about that subject matter.
Yeah.
With the group. And it never needs to go any further than that. There's no pressure.
Yeah.
You haven't got to think, I've got to cover loads of small talk, which is really, really awkward for it.
Struggle with
small talk. It can be really hard and draining and just pointless.
Yeah.
But you haven't got it. You can almost go straight into the
deep dive in.
Must be nerds and geeks. They're fine.
Yeah. It's the other thing is as well, like my daughter, I find she's got quite young interests for her age. And I've always encouraged it, because my personal view, if that makes her happy, great. I'd rather she be doing whatever younger things, if it makes her genuinely happy, over, but, my personal thing is her doing makeup at the age of 10. To play around with is fine, but there are some kids that don't leave the house without foundation, mascara, blusher, and they're 10. And I'm like, I feel that's quite sad. I feel like, we've come to this where...
That sounds less a creative outlet and more of a fitting in
image.
Kind of
like self-conscious.
Yeah. Rather than like, how can I experiment with different makeup styles? And
yes.
So one thing that I often read about or hear about is that when younger, neurospices can feel older than their peers. It's definitely something I relate to, and I feel it's that feeling of you're out of step with your peers, and almost like it's easier to talk to an adult in a way, and there's not a pressure. You already feel the odd one out, so you might as well be the odd one out talking to adults rather than the odd one out with your peer group.
Could relate to adults more because they would talk about things and see things in a nice, kind of in a calm manner, because young kids would want to talk about this person's curled their hair, but did you see how they curled their hair? And I'd be like, I don't care how this person's curled their hair. It was just pointless bullying.
So you could find that adults would talk to you more of an equal.
Yeah, they would just talk about everyday things of like, I'm cooking this and I'm going to add this and I'm going to make this.
And you can learn things and you could just
this is it.
Your interests. And then as adults, I find that conversely, I sometimes feel like my interests are something I should have grown out of. Again, like who says you can't, like, I don't know, fluffy toys?
I think it's a creative side to us.
I think it is, and I think, again, it's something I didn't really recognise in myself till recently, the creativity that I have. I didn't realise I had it, but it's probably because I was hiding it. Or I was trying to suppress it in terms of, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I should be doing boring things. But, it is that creativity and it is that childlike wonder and it is that we notice things and we're interested in lots of different things and those interests cycle through all the time.
Yeah.
And that is almost childlike.
It is, but then I think that's kind of, because Einstein's quote was, imagination takes you further than education or something. Don't quote me on that. It's something along those lines of imagination and using your mind. Because I think a lot of, when you look at people, they don't, the creatives really are, I was reading one thing that the scientists would walk around Switzerland, like the mountains of Switzerland, and talk about problems. And then they'd go down and start experiments. So they had that movement, that walking, that absolutely amazing scenery. They didn't just sit in a room and write things.
Right.
They had that outlet of we're walking, we're talking, we're connecting. There's a collaboration going on.
That's how our brains work, isn't it? That's how we work best. Doing that. Yeah. Being playful. And letting your brain be playful and letting it just, I'm quite happy on my own. My brain can take me on a wild journey. Just, I could be sitting there. I'm staring into space if you were looking at me.
But daydreaming.
I'm daydreaming. I'm having a great time. I did that a lot at school.
I love it. Having a great time.
She's staring out the window. Yeah, she's happy though. She's somewhere she wants to be. Yeah, it's
over somewhere you don't want to be.
Yeah.
And I think this is it. But if you look at the world, let's be perfectly honest, it's the creatives that have created it. Look at all the buildings. That's not done by someone going, I don't know what to do. It is someone being creative.
So really, going back to like not thinking I was creative, I do realise now that is a really big part of what makes me tick. And I just need to play to those strengths and be creative and play to those interests.
Yeah, because I find as well.
Not try and fight them.
Yes, because I find like with, friendships, there's a lot of anxiety as well. So I think the creative outlet lets you reset a little bit and bring you back to yourself. Because I find when you've got, you're kind of, but this person said that or that, or you've got meeting, you're sharing bits of you. And I find it's so important, like your creative side, you're 100% you.
And isn't the essence of creativity thinking up new novel ways of being or seeing things a different way? And I think that's what ADHD brain is.
Yeah.
It's thinking of, like we spoke before, it's just thinking of multiple things at the same time rather than in a linear way. It's quite literally we are just creative beings, and quite more so than people who are.
You look at the entertainment industry, that is all creatives. It's everyone, this movie or that story, this book, this entertainment show, or this comedy program, or there is so much that you think, and those people are probably spicy, because that is how I remember when I was talking to my friend and I was saying about my writing. She goes, where do you get your ideas from? And I'm like, what do you mean? They're just there. they're just constant there. And she went, oh, I could never do anything like this. And it just showed me but my brain doesn't stop doing that, while someone else can't even
might
think
want it to sometimes, but
yes.
I can't stop it. And mine, I get a lot of mine from observation. I just find people fascinating and unintentionally humorous. I just find every day there's so much out there if you're willing to look, because again, we're great at pattern recognition, aren't we? And seeing things, I just think, oh, okay. And just finding humour for me, it's a big part. Just seeing humour in the everyday that maybe no one else has noticed.
Yes.
And then sharing that with someone like Laura.
Well, this is it, because this is the other issue.
It was.
So, yeah.
So we're coming now to the end of the podcast, and the last bit is the no shame zone, which is something we do every week. So we've been talking about friendship groups this week, and my no shame zone this week is about when I was in sixth form. I got a memory of we were going out. It's quite a late night, and I ended up with about 6 girls from school. Ended up coming back to mine and staying overnight. Now, the reason being, a lot of them lived quite far away. It would have been an extra train journey to get home. So like, oh yeah, we'll come back to Claire's. And so they all slept on the floor in the lounge. And I remember feeling awful because I didn't like any of them.
Okay.
Yes, this group of girls, they weren't actually my friends. They were just people that were part of like a wider group, but they weren't people I felt particularly safe with or particularly new. And they ended up coming back to mine, like I say, because it was somewhere to crash. And I remember they were just taking the piss out of me. And it wasn't in a nice way. It was like a matey kind of way, joking way. And I remember thinking, I feel utterly shit about myself. These people in my home, they don't like me.
Why do you think you did it?
Sorry?
Why do you think you did it? Honestly.
I wouldn't have known how to say no.
Yeah.
And probably there was a part of people pleasing as well. Like, oh, you can offer these people something. But I just remember feeling it must be something wrong with me because they all seem okay, but they're not being kind towards me. They're actually being quite unpleasant.
Considering they're at your house
my
as
own
well.
Home, and I just felt, this is supposed to be my place, a sanctuary. It was a family home. I was still living with my family at the time. And I just felt dreadful that they'd come to my mum's house and they were behaving really badly. And it was my fault.
So it's triggering injustice as well. If you've given these girls somewhere to sleep, welcome to your home, and then that's how they
like shit. And I just felt dreadful because the night itself was quite a good night, but it had been ruined by having these people in my home that were basically just taking a piss out of our home. And I just wanted them out the next morning, and they were like, "Oh, aren't you going to give us breakfast?" And I was like, "I'm going to be really rude if I don't do breakfast, but I don't want them here. I don't feel safe. Why are they being so unpleasant?" And, my mum doesn't want them here either, actually. She's going to be getting up in a minute and whatever. And it was that need to fit in, I guess. And
not being able to say no. I think that's the biggest thing of you were just going, I don't have to say no to this.
I don't have to say no. And they'll be like, oh, it'll go around school. Oh, she doesn't let people stay at her house.
And at the time it was,
It just is, even thinking about it now, I just feel horrible. I'm going right back to that feeling of, you don't fit in. You're a loser. Nobody's actually wants to be here. They're only using you for the fact that you got somewhere they can stay. And then just feeling like, why on earth are they here? I should just kick them out and I never want to see them again.
And you see them after?
No. And I want to go back to seeing the friends that I was seeing in the club before these other people came back.
Yeah.
And just not feeling very safe. It was horrible. What about you, Laura?
So my no shame zone is similar kind of experience growing up. I hung around with 1 or 2 people that I knew were not nice people. And this is a stupid thing, because at the time I could feel like this person doesn't, most of the time around them, they're taking the mickey in some way, taking advantage, saying unkind things, always laughing at me. And this kind of like, oh, I'm just joking. And then putting it back on you. And the only thing from that for me now is I spend less time with people like that. I've learnt and I've recognised I can see the pattern now. I can go with my feeling. And this is what I say to my daughter. Spend time with people that you come away going, oh, that was nice.
People that fill up the energy bank, not deplete you with energy.
Exactly. And not making your insecurities, a wound wide open, because this person was really unkind. Looking back, I'm like, why? My older self would be like, if my daughter was hanging around with someone like that, I'd be so upset over this person's horrible for you. Why would you hang around with them? But I think at the time, like you say, you don't know how to say no. You haven't got that confidence or that inner belief in yourself to go, do you know what? I'm better than this. I don't deserve this.
You haven't found your own tribe. You haven't found those special interest people.
And
that are going to treat you.
And I'd see them at school the next day. So I'd be almost like, I'm in this cycle of I can't get it. It's only school ended and then I didn't see them as much. And this person just took advantage. But because we were all hanging around in a group, it was really, really hard, because if I kind of was like, oh, I'm busy, they'd again make fun of that.
Exactly, yeah, you couldn't really win. It's a bit like, if you did point that out, you would be the outcast and you'd be...
And I didn't want that.
No.
Nobody
really wants that today.
No. And it's now recognising of, do you know what, now that I'm settled and in my own, I've got my daughter and that, and it's just a different dynamic.
Now you can walk away from those people.
Yes.
You've got safe friendships and relationships. You don't have to spend the time with those people.
Types of people. So I think this is just, if you've got someone where deep down, this person doesn't actually make me feel good a lot, maybe just have a think about that and decide how much of your time and energy you give that person. So, yes. So thank you for joining us.
That brings us to the end, and we will see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.